Fortis Colosseum, First Look and Rewards. This was published on October 17th. Just from these pictures, I know they're just concept art, but it looks so cool. I can't wait to have something like this in the game. So the Fortis Colosseum, it will go over a bit of the lore here. If you're interested in that, you can pause and read it. I'm more interested in the gameplay itself. So the Fortis Colosseum is old school RuneScape's third wave-based minigame, following in the fiery footsteps of the Fight Caves and the Inferno. Like its predecessors, the Colosseum is a highly repeatable PvM encounter with a high skill ceiling and a steep difficulty curve. The later waves contain some of the toughest enemies Gielinor has to offer, although players who are new to combat can still try their hands at the earlier waves. There's a big focus on reactionary combat, the kind where you see the enemy spawn in quickly, figure out how to manage them. Unlike the Fight Caves in the Inferno, the Colosseum invites you to make big decisions between each wave, so I guess you can't calculate it all out, it'll be different each time. Modifiers. The modifiers system ensures that no two Colosseum runs will be the same. You might see similar systems in roguelikes and roguelites, I don't even know what that is. At the end of each round, you'll be given the option to alter your gameplay experience in significant ways, buffing enemies, debuffing yourself, and even altering the terrain for a bigger challenge. The selection of modifiers you have to choose from is randomized, but beware your choice will persist for the rest of the run. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Thankfully, you'll be offered another chance at regular intervals, the option to exit the Colosseum with all of the loot you've accumulated so far. There's no shame in holding back to fight another day, although the best rewards are reserved for those rare champions who stick it out to the bitter end. We want to keep the specific details as a prize, but the mechanics is at the heart of the Colosseum experience. We can't wait to see you battle through the waves and find out what's waiting at the end. Again, just taking a look at this picture, this looks amazing, man. This might be like one of the best updates ever. It's not like quite a raid, but it's a huge piece of content in a brand new area of the game. Okay, glory. Now, not everyone is in it for heaping piles of gold you can gain in battle. No, some fighters want even greater glory. Within the walls of the Fortis Colosseum, glory is more than flowery language. It serves as a measurement of your power and comes with its tangible benefits. You'll earn glory every time you complete a wave. How much you get depends on how much damage you took, how quickly you cleared the wave, and the number of errors you made. Effectively, it's a reflection of how well you performed. This isn't currency in a traditional sense. You can't farm it repeating low-level waves over and over again. It's based solely on your performance, and the better you perform, the more glory you'll accrue. As you gain more glory, you'll gain respect inside and outside of the Colosseum. The regulars will grant you access to untradeable rewards, including a swanky new cape slot upgrade. Of course, while ordinary citizens all over Valamor will recognize you and bestow rewards befitting your station. Outside of the reward space, glory also serves as a way to measure yourself against other players. Anyone can beat the Fight Caves and crow about it to their heart's content, but glory will let you see which of your friends is really the better fighter. We know the talented PvMers have competed against each other for time, or at least since 2013, and this system makes that official. We hope that this will encourage everyone to get stuck in and improve their PvM skills. This is actually really cool because people that aren't into PvM can like start at the lower waves and like kind of work their way up, and those elitists can really compete to see who's the best. I wonder if there's going to be like a high score or something like that for this. That said, there's only so many ticks you can save, hits you can avoid, and enemies you can slay in one single run. To distinguish between the best of the best, we need to go beyond. We need to go endless mode. Okay, that's cool. Those of you who can't get through the Colosseum can choose to extend their run by running back every single wave with all of your modifiers accumulated so far, plus a few new ones. This is sure to push your glory to new heights if you make it out alive. Now, this is where it gets interesting, the rewards. Of course, few people would put their life on the line without getting anything in return. For your time spent bloodletting in the Colosseum, you'll receive plenty of rewards. You'll earn rewards in two distinct ways. Firstly, after completing a wave, you'll have a chance to earn some unique tradable rewards, which you can choose to cash out the next time you're offered the opportunity. Additionally, you can also unlock untradable rewards by meeting the glory threshold. Okay, so the Glaive of Ralos. For starters, we're not talking about throwing glaives, not those great big spear polearm thingies, although one of these might prove super cool. The Glaive of Ralos is a one-handed chargeable thrown weapon in a brand new weapon category, which bounces back to you after each hit. Handy. Uncharged, you'll throw it out and hit your enemy between 0 and 50% of your maximum hit, and have the glaive return to your hand. Infinite ammo sounds great, but only 50% damage what gives. When charged, this groovy glaive really comes into its own. Sharp edges will slice and dice for 2 hit splats. Each splat rolls its own accuracy and damage, where the damage rolls between 0 and 50% of your maximum hit. Not bad, but there's more. As fun as the thematics are, we've got a cherry on top to make sure that your time spent obtaining one of these bad boys is worthwhile. Its special attack for 50% energy successfully will drain your target's defense level by 10% of their magic level. This means that when charged, you'll drain either 0, 10, or 20% of the target's magic level from their defense, depending on whether 0, 1, or 2 hits connect. Oh, that makes sense. In essence, it's a little bit like a ranged dragon warhammer, just with a twist. Additionally, your target's defense cannot be reduced by the Glaive of Ralos past 50% of its initial value, meaning if your target has 200 defense, the glaive could shave off 100 at most. So I'm assuming, is this going to be more of like a PvP weapon? I guess it could come in handy for certain bosses and stuff like that, but it is cool that like the Dragon Warhammer and the BGS, these are kind of like the only weapons, the main weapons people use to actually lower defense. So it would be cool for us to get one for the range combat style. Okay, next there is the Echo Crystal. Our next unique is something you'll likely see in the wild a little more often. The Echo Crystal, these resident rocks give off a nasty shockwave when struck, inflicting recoil damage on your attacker. That's great, but how do you equip them? We're thinking you'll be able to slot your crystals into an existing boot slot item that needs a little extra love. The current front runner is the Guardian boots, although nothing set in stone just yet. When charged the Echo Crystals, the boots will inflict recoil damage on a 3x3 square around the wearer. Okay, that's actually really cool, because I guess you could still use the Ring of Recoil plus these boots to just do a lot of recoil damage. And it looks like it is tradable, because it says when the charges run out, you'll be able to pick up another Echo Crystal from the Grand Exchange. Okay, next there is Sunfire Armor. Between the Glaive of Ralos, the Echo Crystal, and Sunfire Runes, more on those in just a moment, a lot of what's on the offer is a little more involved than simple bigger number approach to rewards, which is great, right? That said, sometimes it's nice to keep things simple, and we've got just the thing. Okay, so Sunfire Armor is effectively proselyte armor with bigger numbers. That's it. That's the whole pitch. Okay, so let's take a look at this right here. They make a good point that it has been the go-to prayer gear since 2006, and basically it's going to have a similar defense bonus to rune armor, but with a lot higher of a prayer bonus, which is great. Okay, so there's Sunfire Dust. You'll receive Sunfire Dust in bulk pretty regularly throughout your Colosseum runs, similar to the Phantom Muspah's ancient essence. Sunfire Dust lets you charge or otherwise interact with various other items, making it a consistent source of profit for anyone taking on the Colosseum challenge. You'll already know that you can use Sunfire Dust to charge the Glaive of Ralos, but you'll also be able to use it to craft Sunfire runes and charge the quiver. Let's talk about those in order. Sunfire runes are a brand new rune that take a slightly different approach to the Wrath rune formula. Assuming you'll have the requisite rune crafting level or the funds to pay someone else to do it, you can obtain Sunfire runes by imbuing regular old fire runes with Sunfire dust at the fire altar. Just like lava runes, Sunfire runes will count as fire runes when casting spells, but whenever you consume one, that spell will gain a 10% maximum hit. A brief note where we anticipate that hovering over the fire spell with any Sunfire runes in your inventory would clearly show that you are using Sunfire runes. Okay, that's great. We hope that this boost will breathe new life into the fire spells offered in the standard spell book. And then they also mentioned that it will help with things like the Harmonized Nightmare Staff. Now, I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, but Dizana's Quiver, would it really be a wave-based minigame without a sick cape up for grabs? Not really, I guess. The Dizana's Quiver is our proposal for the new best-in-slot range offering in the cape/back slot. Almost 6 years of Ava's Assembler was occupying the top slot. Now, a new best-in-slot item comes with very high expectations. In this case, you'll need to put on a truly glorious performance in the Colosseum, make it through every wave, and you'll be able to accumulate enough glory to take home this untradeable unique reward. For your trouble, you'll get a +10 range accuracy and a +1 strength over Ava's Assembler. And let's face it, it looks much nicer than the rune sack full of magnets and undead animal parts. So this is like the actual stats for it. It says, I guess, 75 range is going to be required. Wonder if it's even going to be possible at 75 range to get this. So it looks cooler and a good bit stronger, but come on, we can't seriously expect you to start picking your own arrows up off the floor. Bring your quiver and your favorite Ava's device along to her workshop, and she'll apply the same ammo saving effect to your cape. Didn't even think about that. So that's 80% pickup rate for the assembler, or 72% for an accumulator. All right. On top of all that, you can charge your quiver using Stardust to gain an additional +10 range accuracy and +1 range strength each time you fire a shot. You'll lose a little dust, so make sure you stock up if you want the best bang for your buck. Some of you may be wondering why this new cape slot upgrade is aimed at ranged, not magic, especially since Mage Arena 2 and Dragon Slayer 2 made their way into the game around the same time. At the end of the day, neither Ava's Assembler nor the imbued God capes are obtained from content suitable for a best-in-slot item. With the addition of Sunfire runes to add some magic reward, we felt it appropriate to make the Dizana's Quiver a ranged item. Yeah, that makes sense. So other rewards. Unlike the fight caves or the Inferno, where all your rewards are tied up in the big fancy capes you get at the end, the Fortis Colosseum will give you plenty of opportunities to cash out early and make a tidy profit. End of wave rewards may consist of tradable uniques, Stardust, and other familiar items, all of which can be converted to GP. The aim is to really drive home the risk versus reward element. Will you take your big pile of loot and gracefully drop out, or risk it all for the chance to wow the crowd and earn more glory? I kind of like the approach that they're taking with this Colosseum because it's kind of open to all players, right? Maybe, I don't know how many waves there are. Say there's 20 waves. You could do the first 5 and then kind of like get out of it, and then you learn a little bit about PvM. Maybe you're a little bit lower of a level. Maybe you're an Ironman. You can get some of the nice rewards, kind of get your glory up a little bit, and maybe unlock some cool perks in Voldemort. And those really experienced players can go all the way to the end and get the best stuff. Maybe like learn, I guess you got to learn all the way, and the waves are different each time, which is cool, right? Because a lot of the content in the game is basically the exact same. So once you kind of master it, you can kind of just do the most efficient ways. So it's bringing something kind of unique like that into the game, and the rewards for it sound pretty cool. There's not too much best in slot new upgrades so far, besides I guess the range quiver is a new best in slot upgrade, but there's always got to be something a little bit better, right? But most of the rewards seem pretty balanced, have some niche uses like those star runes or whatever the hell they were called, stardust runes. 10% extra damage with fire spells, right? Not super broken or anything like that, and you got to go out of your way to make them. They'll probably cost a little bit more money. Overall, I'm just super excited for Varlamore in general, and the Colosseum is just one little part of Varlamore, and it's going to be so big, like such a huge piece of content, right? Everything in Varlamore I'm just super excited about, and I can't wait for it to come out. I kind of like the whole glory aspect to it too, where you pretty much kind of have to wow the town and get some reputation up. I think that's a very cool, unique thing that Old School doesn't have too much of. I know RuneScape 3 has a lot of those like systems where you kind of have to like gain points in a city or whatever, but Old School RuneScape doesn't have too much of that. We've got like achievement diaries, and that's about it. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the video today, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya later.